Welcome to Tiger Basketball Report, Episode 6. I'm your host, Devin LaTulippe, joined by two lovely co-hosts, Landon Speck
Hey, how's
and
it
Sam
going? Here
Shoemaker.
virtually. It's been a minute.
Here virtually.
Yeah, it's
Sam, how you
been
doing?
far too long. It's been far too long. I'm excited to be here.
Took a little holiday
Has been
We
far
break.
can
too
go
A
ahead
long,
and
lot's
huh?
move into
happened.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
lots happened
home
for
for the
sure.
Yeah,
holidays. You know how it goes.
yeah.
A lot
Devin,
of
how was your Christmas, man? You had a good Christmas?
Christmas great, back in the beautiful Yorktown, Virginia.
No.
See some fam. Had a good time. Ate some
Yeah.
food. Watched some Memphis basketball.
Yeah. Yeah. Good segue. Great segue.
We have a lot. Great segue. Yeah, good segue. We have a lot to cover today. I believe Sam has made an agenda. Uh, you know,
uh,
gotta love Sam. Sam, what's first on your agenda
yeah.
today? What do you want to bring? What are you itching to bring up today?
Wait, get a load of this guy. Just more of like a broad point of view. Memphis is 10-3 after the toughest, if not the toughest, one of the toughest non-conference slate in the country. If you told me before the season, or if you told Penny or any players or any just Memphis fans before the season that Memphis goes 10-3 against this slate, I think you'd be crazy not to take it. This is wildly impressive. Memphis was 11-2 at this point last year, but something about this year just feels different because you just have talent up and down the roster. And we'll get into it more, but I just want to kind of get into how impressive this 10-3 run has been, and then also how impressive Penny Hardaway has been just because of his adjustments. And, you come out and you lose to Mississippi State 79-66, and then you have a whole week to prepare, and then you just look dominant over Ole Miss, and we'll get into that game more later, but that's just kind of a microcosm of how impressive his adjustments have been. It hasn't ever been one problem affects you this game and then it affects you the next game, right? It's always that problem is not going to affect you again because they've been coaching these things out of the players. And that's what's been so impressive. So, Landon, 10-3 start. What'd you think?
Well, obviously, we knew going in that the non-conference schedule was going to be imperative because of the state of the American Athletic Conference. Memphis actually wasn't chosen to win the American Athletic Conference by the media preseason. That was UAB. But as we know now, Memphis is going to go into this conference slate as the heavy favorite to win the conference. And they've done so much well in this non-conference slate to where if everything goes as planned in conference play, they have a tournament bid locked up. Now, the big challenge about this conference schedule, while the games are all going to be easier than the ones you've just played, you're about to play the long grind of the conference schedule. You're going to be traveling to these arenas, playing at home, wherever it is, and these teams are going to come into this game. This is going to be their Super Bowl. Everybody's in this conference is going to want to beat Memphis. You're going to get everybody's best shot. And quite frankly, let's just be real. It's going to be hard to get up for these games compared to Ole Miss and Clemson and Virginia and UConn. All these games that they played and won in the non-conference. So that's going to be a big test for Penny and these players to get up for these games that maybe in the moment don't seem like they matter as much, but they really matter a lot because you have to win these games. You can't lose a bunch of these if you want to get into the NCAA tournament. And you would think with a veteran team like Memphis has that they would be able to handle that and lock in and get their business done. But obviously, we had a veteran team last season; they weren't able to do the job. So hopefully, that's different this year. And I think that's just the next test with this team and for Penny. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Last episode, I believe we left off after the Arkansas State loss. We had not yet played Clemson. I was really pleased with the Clemson game. I don't know if we did predictions on the last episode or not, but I think that we all felt that Memphis would win, or we felt.
Honestly, I thought they were
Don't
going
know
to
if that the
lose.
consensus.
I thought they
Okay,
were.
I thought they'd win. I thought they would win.
I thought Memphis was going to start reeling after that Arkansas State loss.
Yeah, just a little
Shout
bit.
out me for
Okay.
not believing in Penny. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
You lose by
no big
13.
deal.
You get embarrassed by Arkansas State. That loss was just kind of unreasonably bad. And then you turn around on this ACC road trip against Clemson and Virginia, get two close wins. And that's kind of the thing about this schedule so far. It's like, let me count it up. You beat UNLV by 6. That was to the wire. You beat San Francisco by 4. That was to the wire. UConn in overtime to the wire. Clemson in overtime to the wire. Virginia, 2 points to the wire. And those are all wins. You know what I mean? All 3 of your losses were by 13 points or more. So Memphis, because they have these guards, they have these senior guards that kind of Landon talked about it. The benefit of having a Tyrese Hunter is he's played so much college basketball. Down the stretch, you're going to execute when it matters, right? And it's really shown that Memphis has won literally every close game they've played in. and that's going to help you come tournament time. Evan, what
Okay,
was
well, should we
next
get
on our
into some
agenda?
specifics? I believe it was specifics of the game we all
Yeah.
had. I mean, I'd like to bring up some stuff about this Mississippi State and Ole Miss matchup here. Does anyone else have anything they want to get off the chest before we go there?
Yeah, I mean, we can circle back around if we need to. We have the time. We're virtual. So,
Be great.
Devin, fire away. What do you got about the Mississippi teams?
Let's start off with Mississippi State. Obviously, that was the initial in the matchup. This one was obviously wasn't great. This one really kind of this one reeled me a little bit. I was a little shaken. I thought similar to the Arkansas State game and how I was expecting Clemson to be a bounce back. I was like, this might be over. That game had very large remnants of a team that didn't look interested in being there. They didn't look like they wanted to even play basketball that day. They looked tired. They looked lethargic. It just didn't look like I want to say the team we've come to expect, but even some of the losses were rough. But my point is that it just didn't look like a basketball team that day. I don't have the exact numbers. There were a lot of turnovers. I think there was 12 at halftime, 18 turnovers for that game to just 11 assists. So we're not winning the assist turnover ratio there. Mississippi State came to play. Memphis didn't. It was just bad basketball. There was just mistakes everywhere. It didn't look like a team we watched being successful this year, and that was the most concerning part to me.
I agree
Yeah.
with that. It was so confusing because they spent so much time between the previous game and the Mississippi State game asking the fans to show up and come to the game and support the team. And it just seemed like they were going to be
Mm-hmm.
super up and ready to play this game. They were home favorites. And then, like you said, they come out and they just looked like they didn't want to be there. And they got dominated wire to wire. This game wasn't
Mm-hmm.
particularly close. They lost by, I believe it was 13, and that wasn't even indicative of how the game went. I think they kind of closed that gap late in garbage time. And it was just really strange based on the build up to the game, the way it went. Mississippi State came in and they were the aggressor from start to finish, and they kept their foot on the gas the whole game, and Memphis never could get back in it. It was honestly, it was really confusing to me. I thought that it was a game I thought Memphis was going to win, whereas I thought they were going to lose to Clemson, and then I thought they were going to beat Mississippi State, and they got absolutely dominated by Mississippi State. So it was a little strange to me.
Yeah, and Landon, you talk about like the build up to that game. So you kind of have to provide context to that. Is like Memphis played Clemson on Saturday in the middle of December, and then Wednesday they played Virginia, and then the next Saturday they played Mississippi State. Think about it. If you remember, the build up for packing the form started before that Virginia game. So fans
That's
were
right.
just had been hyping this game up for so long before that Virginia game was even played, and then and part of it was because Memphis lost to Mississippi State by 13, but the game wasn't even that close, right? Like it was not in doubt who was going to win that game from very early on, right? And Mississippi State is they're not ranked when they weren't ranked when Memphis played them, but they're very clearly a top 25 team, and I think they're ranked now. So Memphis beat Virginia, who's a tough physical team, by 2 on Wednesday night. They came back Thursday morning, and then they had a couple of like MAM events, and then I think they practiced, and then they had another. Don't take my word for this. I just remember Penny was talking about how they had like 2 charity events and then 1 like volunteer event. So he said they only had 2 hours in total to prepare for Mississippi State between Virginia, right? Because you can't, before that Clemson Virginia road trip, you can't early prepare for Mississippi State because Clemson and Virginia are the teams in front of you, and they're also just good teams. So you only had 2 hours in total to prepare for Mississippi State. And Devin kind of hit the nail on the head. Like Memphis didn't look like they wanted to be there. They looked lethargic. You know what I mean? But when you only have 2 hours to prepare and then you bounce back from that, where you have a whole week to prepare, it's so easy to take Penny's word for it when he gives we only had 2 hours as an excuse. You know what I mean? You can't use that excuse and then come out flat the next game. But then when you have a week to prepare, you can. I feel like at this point in the season, we can take Penny's word for everything he says as far as that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, even I was watching the TV copy of the Ole Miss game because like I said, I'm not in Memphis to go, and he did mention one of the reporters mentioned that if he had to do things over again, he would not have those early practices like you mentioned and stuff to kind of crowd the already busy schedule of the team because he feels that was an aspect of why the Mississippi State game had. So that's definitely something we can take into account for that.
Devin, did we lose you?
Yeah, mate. Hold on. Let me get a change of scenery here.
Yeah, I'll filibuster.
Yeah,
I'll
take
fill
over,
us
Sam.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Memphis spent the whole week hyping up packing the form against Mississippi State, and then Penny came out and said after that loss, he said, "Look, fans should be here. Fans should be here whether we win or lose because that's what fans are for, right?" And then Memphis
Mhm.
comes out. Just the Memphis fans, they come out and they have their best crowd in like 2 years against Ole Miss, even after that horrible loss, right? So that was honestly really impressive. Just the way that Penny and then his guys were able to rally the fans, but also just how the fans were able the fans just showed up against Ole Miss. And I know Ole Miss has a big local contingent. There was a lot of red there, but it was the whiteout game and fans showed up and it was loud. Penny said it kind of felt like the old days. He said it kind of felt like back when he was playing for Memphis State. And there's a lot of hype in this team. It's fun. Memphis is a basketball city and when Memphis wins games, people show up and it's as simple as that. And I know conference play isn't as exciting as ranked Ole Miss or Mississippi State, but if you keep winning these games, fans are going to keep showing up. That's going to kind of help with, Memphis is everyone's Super Bowl. Memphis is everyone's T-shirt game, free pizza game, right?
Sure.
But when you have this hype around your program, they're going to continue to have that hype, but also your fans are going to show up and you're going to have this energy in the form. And I think that's really exciting.
Yeah. Okay. So sorry. I think I'm back now. I think we have some good filibuster stand way to play.
You look much better.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad. I was in some questionable Wi-Fi waters. I'm not sure what the last thing y'all heard from me was, but what I was saying was I was watching the TV copy of the Ole Miss game because I am home in Virginia, not in Memphis. And they did kind of hit on the same point Sam made about the lack of preparation that was available to Memphis because of the events and early practices leading into that Ole Miss game. So I don't know if y'all heard that or not, but yeah, seems like we kind of covered the Mississippi State game pretty well. Just a disappointing loss, and yeah, the fans showing up, and it was just yeah. So any other thoughts about that game before we move on to Ole Miss?
I mean, yeah. I was about to
Okay, yeah,
interrupt you.
keep going.
I thought
Okay,
you were
yeah.
moving on from Ole Miss.
No,
Yeah,
you're all good.
we can get
You're all
into
good.
Ole Miss if y'all have thoughts on that.
Everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I
Let's
think we're
talk
good.
Ole Miss. Ole Miss was a much needed bounce back for the Tigers. They took down the Rebels 87-70. Colby Rogers, 28 points that game after some rough shooting performances in his last two. So it was good to see him bounce back. And the Memphis Bigs came to play. Musa Cisse and Danger contributed some high point totals that game. Thoughts about that game, Sam, Landon? Who wants to go first?
Landon, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to speak on Musa for sure because obviously, as we know, Musa was an Ole Miss Rebel last season, and this was, I guess, if you want to call it the Musa revenge game, it did end up being indeed that game. I mean, Musa was great, and you could tell from the jump. First offensive possession for Memphis, they come down and they draw up an Musa sets a couple screens and then cuts back door for a lob alley oop and dunks it and one on the very first possession of the game, and that got him going. And I saw just some talk about it on Twitter. There were people saying Musa was looking like Shaquille O'Neal out there. I mean, that's just what it felt like. The dude,
Yeah.
he was everywhere. He played that game personally. He did. I mean, I guess on the stat sheet, he finished with 13 and 11, 13 points, 11 rebounds. He's four of 9 from the field. He was 5 of 8 from the free throw line. I actually remember one of his free throw trips. He made both of them, which for Musa Cisse, that's something. If he makes both of his free throws, he just came out with a different energy. I thought it was the best game Musa's played all year in a Memphis uniform. As you said, Dane was great too, but I really just wanted to highlight Musa in his 20 minutes. He was unbelievable, and it was just I guess I don't know if it was maybe personal with him or anything. Who knows what it was? But anytime I think you face a team that you used to play for, it means a little something different to you, and it definitely seemed like that was the case for him. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, and you know what it was with Musa. You're talking about it's personal, and yeah, it is his revenge game. But it was funny. He was just talking about how people were calling him soft after the Mississippi State game, and then he came out into the press conference, like he said it like 4 different times. He said, "I bet they'll never call me soft again." And then also a play. So when you look at just how this game was going, it kind of felt, even though Memphis was up by 2 at half, it kind of felt like Memphis was just controlling the game, even though it was pretty close. At least that was my thought on it. But a real changing point in the game that the scoreboard reflected kind of what the eye test said was when Musa Cisse got smacked in the back of the head by Mikhail Brown-Jones, Ole Miss's forward. I don't know if y'all saw that. He got a flagrant 2. So the story was he smacked Musa in the back of the head. Musa just turned around, started running, and then he grabbed his neck and fell to the ground. And then so of course, Musa dramatized it and whatnot, but it made the refs look at it, and then, you can't just punch someone. That's going to get you ejected.
Yeah. Usually doesn't hurt.
Every time I've talked to Musa before the post-game presser at Ole Miss, he's just very reserved, very nonchalant. But this kind of felt like a new Musa. Like he was just talking, and then I don't know if y'all saw his Instagram after he was posting stories, just trash talking Ole Miss, because he's probably buddies with some of those guys, so it was all in good fun, right? Yeah. Landon, you kind of talk about it. This kind of felt like a new Musa, and moving on from Musa, you could go through every player that played in this game. No one played a bad game. You look at Tyrese Hunter, 2 of 9 from the field. He didn't score his first points till like 6 minutes left in the game. But Chris Beard, Ole Miss's coach, came in the post-game presser. Maybe he used to coach Tyrese, so maybe he's just, just talking, right? He coached him at Texas. But he comes in the post-game presser, he's like, Tyrese Hunter set everything up. He made everyone hard to guard. Colby Rogers had the day he had because Tyrese Hunter set him up. So you just didn't really get a disappointing game from anyone on Memphis. And that's kind of what you like to see. Someone I want to highlight that probably won't get highlighted too much is Nicholas Jourdain. Devin, I know you're a big Nicholas Jourdain guy.
I was actually just about to highlight him, but go ahead.
Yeah. He went 0 of 2 from 3, and you could tell coming into this season, he's like, man, I want to shoot threes. I want to be a shooter. I want to sit outside. Yeah. But I think recently he's realized that's not his role. Like, if he's open, I want him to shoot it, right? But you don't want him just stay. Because when he focuses too much on shooting threes, you kind of forget all the amazing glue guy things that Nicholas Jourdain does. You know what I mean? He finished this game with 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and 8 points and 3 blocks. That's like the perfect glue guy stat line. 4 of 4 from free throw, 2 of 4 from the field. You can't really ask for much else from Jourdain. He had a rough couple of games, even in those wins versus Clemson and Virginia. Maybe I'm tripping. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like my eye test told me Nicholas Jourdain hasn't been what you expect. And the thing about Nicholas Jourdain that's so appealing is he's Mr. Consistent, and he's going to be the same player every game. But I feel like he had a couple game stretch where it was like an identity crisis or something. Devin, you've turned me. I'm a Nicholas Jourdain truther now. I'm a big fan. What'd you think about him?
I think all of us on here are. I think we all love Nick Jourdain.
Yeah, I think we all are, yeah.
Yeah. He's easy to like, too, because he's just...
If you're a real basketball purist, you should be a Jourdain fan. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we kind of hit the nail on the head, Sam. When you I think the moment I realized was like, all right, Jourdain, we need to calm down a little bit. Was when I saw him coming off a screen and doing a catch and shoot through. I was like, all right, maybe we don't need to be doing that. Coming off the screen, I don't know if that's really who we want, but what are you gonna do? Let the guy have some fun. Yeah, I thought Jourdain played great. Like you mentioned, 3 blocks. Cisse also had 3 blocks, and I think Memphis only had. I think it was the only guys with blocks on the day, which seems weird. One
Colby
more?
had a block, and Dane Danger had 2 blocks, so we finished with 9 on the day.
Oh, I didn't know Dane Danger had 2. Whoops.
9 blocks on the day is very impressive.
It is very impressive. Yeah, but Cisse and Jourdain with 3 pop. Just the bigs all around. We kind of mentioned it without saying it, but every big had a different thing they brought to the game that was equally as valuable. Like Jourdain, what do you have? 8 rebounds at least, right? Yeah, so 8 rebounds, 3 blocks. Cisse, I believe, also had a double-double, 13, 11.
He did. He had 11 blocks, but 7 of them were on offense and
rebounds.
He missed 5 shots. Yeah, 7 of his rebounds were offensive, and he missed 5 shots, and it's because he just kept missing wide open layups and then getting the rebound and kicking it out. It was great. That's not a negative play, Musa. That's great.
Right. That's a positive play.
Yeah,
Memphis did have some. We converted on some good second chance points that game too.
Yeah, exactly.
The bigs were really just our advantage over Ole Miss because they really just couldn't keep up. And then we out rebounded them like I really should have the stats pulled up here in front of me, but 45 to 34.
34. Yeah.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
I just know off the top of the head. It was something really that's what really pushed over the edge of that game is the bigs. And obviously Kobe Rogers, 28 points. That doesn't even need to be said.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't talked about that enough when we're this far into the game preview.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about it. Kobe Rogers, 28 points, 10 of 16 from the field, 6 of 9 from 3. No turnovers. No turnovers from Rogers, which is my personal favorite part. As any listener knows, I hark on turnovers almost every time I speak. So it was just a really great bounce back game from Rogers. Really what we needed in this game because Haggerty wasn't playing Haggerty.
Oh man, a lot.
He had 17. 17 on 5 of 13.
So
made it 3 again.
Yeah. So
I'll say real quick about PJ.
So,
through all the rough games, maybe the losses, he's like the one player he doesn't have an off night.
Never.
For the most part. I mean, he's unbelievable.
17 on 5 of 13 is an off night for PJ Haggerty, and that's just hilarious.
Exactly. And that's not even that bad.
Because even my brain.
No, it's a good game.
Brain, I was thinking like I don't remember PJ like being super active. It was like, oh, he had 17 points actually. So,
all right, anyways, continue about Kobe Rogers. This is Kobe Rogers' moment. Let's keep it going.
Right. Yeah, sorry. Sorry not to steal the light, but it just seemed like every time. So I'll say this: Memphis didn't have a ton of turnovers this game, like more than I would like. But it seemed like every time we had a turnover, it like gave Ole Miss a big opportunity to get back into the game. Whether they converted or not, Colby Rogers answered every time on the other end. It felt like he was just there, like counter punching every time Ole Miss threw something out, which is an unbelievable thing to do against a good Ole Miss team. He was just it can't be emphasized how important he was to that win. Even just beyond the 6 of 9 threes, obviously that's unbelievable. But just how critical each three was really just felt like it came at the perfect time and was like a huge body blow to the Rebels' effort.
Yeah.
For sure. He was
Go ahead, Landon.
He was getting whatever he wanted off the dribble in transition. It was a scoring masterclass in my opinion. It was just really fun to watch from a shot making perspective. He was making some tough shots, and they had nothing for him. I think this has been the story of Memphis all year. They have these 3 guards: Rogers, Haggerty, and Hunter. Tyrese didn't have his greatest shooting night, but obviously Rogers was incredible, and then PJ Haggerty did his thing. And it just seems like there could be any given night where one of these guys does what Colby Rogers did. They could go for 30 or 28 in this case, and it seems like it's gonna be tough for there to be a night where all 3 of them just aren't hitting any shots. And that's a real weapon to have. This is a real weapon to have, especially in tournament play. I don't want to veer too far away from this Ole Miss game, but in postseason college basketball, having guard play is so important, and Memphis has that at a high level, and that should be something to be excited about.
Yeah, and the thing is, Colby Rogers is your 3rd guard, and he just dropped 28 against the 16th best team in the country on awesome efficiency. How many teams can say that? You know what I mean? Like, I know Tennessee, the best team in the nation, according to the AP poll. They can't say that. Landon, I don't think Auburn can say that. Correct me if I'm wrong. The second best,
no comment.
Colby Rogers had Colby Rogers had 28 against the 16th best team in the nation. That's so impressive. And what's more impressive is he just went one of his last 19 shots combined against Clemson and Virginia. No, against Virginia and Mississippi State. He just went one of his last 19 shots, and he just bounces back and then just doesn't miss anything. What was hilarious, Landon, you said he was getting anything he wants. He even passed up some open shots. It was hilarious. I was like, you're 4 of 5, you're 5 of whatever you were at the time. Shoot the dang ball, and he's passing it up because he thinks he can get a better shot. And funnily enough, he usually did get, the better shot. So shout out Colby. He's going to win Memphis games, simple as that.
Absolutely. Another thought I had about the Ole Miss game was just how it was a full 180 in terms of effort from the Mississippi State game to the Ole Miss game. It was unbelievable. It really felt like watching 2 different teams come out and play. Because like we mentioned in the Mississippi State portion of the episode earlier, it felt like they didn't even want to be playing basketball. It was just awful effort, awful defensive effort. But this game, like guys were diving on loose balls. There was a couple of times, I don't know, just it just felt like completely a different effort. thought process. I don't know what changed over the course of that week, but whatever it was truly something to watch.
Yep, I'd say you're right about that.
Another thing I wanted to note. Oh, go ahead, Landon.
Yes, I was going to say about this game. This was for Ole Miss. It was for sure by far their toughest test thus far, and so it was kind of a good measuring stick for them. They've played some decently tough games up to this point, but they haven't played near the level schedule that Memphis has, or any team that's played a tough non-conference for that matter. So who knows what they're going to be like going forward? I mean, they're obviously probably a pretty good team. A guy for them I had my eye on going into this one is Matthew Morrell, the Memphis native, as a lot of people know. He played high school basketball in Memphis, and it just seemed like every game in the past Memphis has played Ole Miss. I know they played last year. Matthew Morrell kills him. It's like he's like a thorn in their side, and they were able to contain him this time around. And I thought that was big because that was something I was super conscious of going in. I was like, oh boy, we're playing Matthew Morrell again, and he ended up going 3 of 11, 1 of 4 from three, and so yeah,
he was
good that
invisible.
he wasn't able to destroy Memphis like he has in the past.
My favorite Matthew Morrell stat, he was minus 25, which was a game low. Which I just love. I just love that Memphis beat up on the Rebels when Matthew Morrell was in because
Finally.
he was a Tiger killer in years past.
Yeah, Tiger killer.
Okay. What else we got? Anything else from the Ole Miss game? Any other thoughts?
I don't have anything off the dome. I'm sure we'll circle back to it. But Memphis did. I'm going to steal the mic from you, Devin. Memphis landed Virginia transfer guard Dante Harris, the night before, so Friday night before the Ole Miss game, which was hilarious that it just came out, and Memphis just added a new player, and for the second year in a row. And you know, if you were a Tiger fan last year, locked in on the Tigers last year, they brought in Naquan Tomlin. Oh, there goes Landon.
There goes Landon. He'll come back.
He'll come back. He'll come back. We'll keep talking. Memphis added Naquan Tomlin around the same time last year. Naquan Tomlin was a game changer for the Tigers. Dante Harris isn't that, but that's okay. You know what I mean? His guard depth. This team, Memphis has had incredible injury luck. Knock on wood, of course. You're not going to stay healthy. You're not going to stay out of foul trouble. So that's why it certainly is a good pickup to bring in a veteran. He's 23 years old. You're bringing in a veteran, a point guard. Also, he has another year of eligibility after this, which is interesting. We'll see what he does. But Dante Harris, 6-foot guard. He had some really good years at Georgetown. I think he had averaged like 11 and 6 at his peak as a starter. Georgetown's a good program. He's a really good downhill player, and that's kind of sketchy that you're 6 foot maybe. He's maybe 6 feet, and you're best around the rim because he's not an explosive athlete, but he's just an elusive athlete to where he can get around guys. He can get to the rim. He gets to the rim very well. The finishing is kind of what's sketchy, but he still excels downhill. He's a pesky defender. He came in his first play as a Tiger. He forced like a shot clock violation, essentially forced a turnover for Memphis. It was cool to see how Penny gave him first half minutes. Like he said, Dante, like there's no pressure on you, but I'm going to put you in the game like as soon as we can. Right. And that was actually cool to see. He's a good passer. All his passing metrics and assist numbers look good. And then at the end of the day, he's just a true college basketball veteran. Like he's been there, done that. He's been on good college basketball teams. He started on decent college basketball teams, put up good numbers. And when these injuries or fouls begin to add up, oh, there goes Landon.
Welcome back, Landon, to the pod.
Welcome back, Landon.
Yeah, we're
talking Dante Harris.
Dante, the new guy.
Nice. Yeah, we're talking Dante Harris. Essentially, as a recap to you and the viewers, great downhill, small, pesky defender, solid passer, and then just a college basketball veteran at 23 years old. And that's kind of what you want when these injuries or fouls begin to add up.
When I first heard that Memphis got him, it kind of reminded me of DeJuan Harris from Kansas, for those who know who that is.
I know the name DeJuan Harris, but isn't DeJuan Harris?
He's been their point guard, really it feels like, for 10 years.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
I see it. I see it. Devin, in his limited... Devin, do you have the stats in front of you of what Dante Harris' Tiger debut?
Live grenade. Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Here, I'll talk while you do that. This is good podcasting, guys. This is good podcasting.
Great podcasting. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Dante, if you've made it this far, you're a real legend. Dante Harris, I think he scored a point in that debut, no?
He did.
This will be
exactly 1 point. He made a free throw.
Yeah, it was like
one rebound,
garbage time. Let's see. He had 2 fouls, a rebound, a point, in 7 minutes, and he was
Missed the
minus
free throw,
5.
though. Missed the free throw, though.
One missed free throw.
Can't be
yeah.
doing that.
Get this
Can't
guy
be
off
doing
my
that.
team.
Yeah, get him off.
But look, Devin, he was the lead guard for a little bit. I think he had like 2 or 3 possessions where he brought the ball down the floor. 0 turnovers, which we like to see. He put himself in some very risky situations that I didn't understand, or like 2 possessions in a row. But he didn't turn the ball over. He scored a point. Can't really take much out of the debut. Do y'all have anything else on Dante Harris and what he could bring
Not
to
at the
this
moment.
Tiger team?
I don't know if y'all talked about this while I was gone, but I do want to note this midseason acquisition. This is not Naquan Tomlin. This is not the same.
First thing.
This is
first
not the
thing
same
Sam
caliber
said.
of player
No.
that Memphis is getting. This is nothing more than a depth piece and more experience to add to the team. So hopefully it doesn't mess up any of the good vibes going on with the team right now. It shouldn't.
The only person who would be mad about this maybe is Baraka Okoje. You know, he's kind of been Memphis's go get him, play defense, make an open layup if you're there, but that's it guy. That's what Baraka Okoje's been for Memphis. But Baraka Okoje, he's been injured for a little bit in the preseason, and then he's just not really making his shots. And I like Baraka Okoje. I think he's a good player, but it's going to be a competition there. Dante Harris might snatch his chain. Do y'all have any predictions how that works out? Because I know if I was Jared Harris or Baraka Okoje, I would kind of be mad that this guy's coming in. But that's the selfish part of me. Maybe Penny's a better coach to where he doesn't give these guys room to be selfish. But I
Penny
sure know I
Penny
would.
might be a little bit better coach than you are, Sam. Just a hair.
He might be a better leader of men than me, but
He
that's
might be
still
a little
up
bit
for,
better leader
that's still
than
up for that's still up for debate.
Yeah.
Last year I coached an 8-and-under team. We went 1-7, but
Okay.
we lost a game. We lost a game by 70.
Jeez,
We lost 72-2 at one point.
How'd you give up 70 points to 8-year-olds?
They were like 10. Okay, they were old. We were playing up.
Okay.
We were playing up. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we lost by 70 points. Penny's never lost by 70 points. Transitive property says Penny's a better coach than me. He probably knows how to deal with egos better than I did. Yeah. That's my Dante Harris thought. Yeah.
I don't know. There's not been any hints of a culture issue going on this season. I know there was a little bit last year at some points, but so I'm not worried about it until they give me a reason to worry. Landon, any thoughts on that?
I'm the same way as you. I also have no predictions on how this is going to play out. I have absolutely no clue.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. He'll get a shot. He'll get a shot to play over Baraka, and that's kind of where I'm at with it. Is like he's going to get a chance, and either he runs with it or he doesn't. And the problem is you're going to put him in there to be a defensive stopper. Baraka has a little more size and length on him, and Dante's very small. You'll know how I feel about small guards. We'll see how it plays out. It was funny on Twitter seeing people like, "Why didn't you get a big? Why didn't you get a forward? We need size." Bro, there's not any bigs sitting out there, man. Like, what Penny can only do what he can do. Tyreek Smith is gone. This is so far removed. I'm getting so far sidetracked. I'm sorry.
I forgot about
Tyreek Smith. Tyreek Smith would be nice to have on this team. Tyreek Smith would be very nice.
Would be nice.
But he's not on the team. We have Dante Harris. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, that's there's to say about that. I think we covered that pretty well. Obviously.
As well as you can for a player who
something we don't really know much about. Just got
exactly.
What's next on your agenda, Sam? You have anything? What's
next?
next?
So about my agenda that you've mentioned like what 2-3 times now.
A couple times.
I had like 2 points on it. I literally just had two things because I typed it up in the pre-show, got distracted.
Yeah. That's all right.
Yeah,
I didn't know. I actually didn't know what was on there, so I was going to keep throwing it to you until you told me that you were out of stuff.
Thank you. I guess we can. Something that we definitely should hit on is just Memphis is 10-3 and the non-con, and then we kind of talked about it. You go into conference play, you're everyone's Super Bowl, your T-shirt night, your free gift card night. You open at FAU, and they're going to do their stripe out, flamingo out, or whatever they do. What do y'all think about this conference schedule? Like, what are y'all's expectations? And do we see this? Is so unfair, but I have to ask it. Do we see another mid-season collapse or and that's such an unfair question to ask, considering this is just like a whole new team. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
that's enough for me. What do y'all see from this conference slate?
I don't think there'll be another mid-season collapse quite like last year. I mean, none at all, obviously. I don't think, but like it's not fair to think that. I also think this is one Memphis is more than likely going to be favored in every single one of these games. Now, I don't expect Memphis to win all of these games. That'd be nice, but It's so hard to go undefeated in your conference schedule. So yeah, there's probably going to be a slip up or two. What they can't let happen is if that does happen, if they do lose a game, they can't let that affect them in the next game and turn into this big snowball, kind of like what happened last year. They gotta, if they do happen to lose one, they gotta flush it, move on, go to the next game in front of them. And honestly, I said, I don't expect them to go undefeated, but I expect them to be dominant. I expect them to be the dominant entity in the AAC. They need to run through the schedule. And especially in the offseason, before the season started, there was all this talk about realignment, Memphis going to the Pac-12. As anybody who follows the program, they know that was something that could have happened, and it didn't. So now every fan out there, I mean, I agree with that. Memphis does deserve to be in a better conference. So if you deserve to be in a better conference, you need to run through the American Athletic Conference, because we've been talking about all season so far how bad this conference is. And they need to go out there and they need to back up what everybody thinks.
Yeah, I would agree with that. As someone that would like to see Memphis leave the American, last year they didn't do a very great job of showing their dominance in the conference. But as far as my expectations go, this team hasn't really given me a reason to expect or predict a earth-shattering conference schedule. Now they did last year's team though, so who really knows. But as far as my expectations, like Landon said, I think it's kind of a lot to expect them to win every game in the conference. Like you said, that'd be unbelievable. But I'm expecting one or two slip ups here. I think we have I could see like a February game to like Wichita State usually give us some problems, like something silly like that. Maybe dropping a loss on Memphis's schedule, but just staying a unit. Just keep playing Memphis basketball. If someone beats us playing Memphis basketball, that's fine. That's like, we have a tough shooting night, whatever the case may be. But I don't want to see like some weird off night where we like don't play the way we've been playing all year, and that's how someone beats us. That would be the most disappointing to me. I just like to see consistency from the group. I like to see building this offense. It feels like every game the chemistry between the guys has been getting better. Offense looks more fluid night in, night out. Obviously, with some expectation or some exceptions, but just continue building on what we have. Get through the conference, win the American.
Yeah. I kind of pulled up the just like the Memphis team rankings. Team rankings is just like a prediction site. And honestly, Landon, you can pull these up while I'm just yapping over here. Like just like Bart Torvik and Ken Palm and all that stuff. I feel like Memphis has been pretty disrespected in those numbers so far. 10-3 in this. Not many teams in the nation are going to go 10-3 against this schedule, and it's because they have the preseason expectations kind of baked into it, and you kind of flesh those out closer to like February. So it'll all end up working out. But Memphis is 10-3 right now. You have 18 conference games. I'm going to throw both of you on the spot. TeamRankings.com predicts Memphis to go 15-3 in their remaining conference games, which I feel like is like, I honestly think you can't complain at 15, because if you go 15-3, you're 25-6, and then they're predicting Memphis to be the 6th seed in the NCAA tournament if you go 15-3 in conference, and that's not predicting your AAC tournament. But like, I don't know, if you go 25-6, and then losing the AAC championship, you're getting into the tournament with like a 6th seed with between the 7 and 5 seed, and that's awesome. Like that's going to be the best in Penny's tenure. It's going to be the best in a really long time. Memphis's toughest game is January 2nd at FAU. FAU's certainly an okay team. I was about to say like good, decent, solid. They're okay, but it's their biggest game of the season. It's the first time that I had the stat in my head. I forgot it. It's the first time in a very long time a ranked opponent has come to FAU. That's going to be a really tough game. But if you can win that one, my prediction for conference play, I'm just going to go basic. I'm going to say 15-3. What do y'all think Memphis goes in conference play?
That's me today. I'm going to go 16-2. Like I said, I can definitely see. I'm pretty certain the loss to Wichita State's coming, fellas. I don't know why. I just almost feel a loss to Wichita State coming. At least one of those.
And y'all can look up like the numbers on like how good the AAC is. It's probably something we should have done pre-show, but this is good podcasting, working on the fly. The AAC, like their numbers and stuff. I think North Texas has pretty good like metrics. Wichita State, I think, has decent metrics. I don't know, Landon. What are you seeing? What are you seeing on these metrics?
Well, I know Memphis. Memphis is 36 in Ken Palm. Unfortunately, and then North Texas is in there at 71. I believe they're the next highest American team
And that would be
in the
a
Pomeroy rankings. And then FAU's 91.
Okay, educate a non-ball knower. Those would be at FAU would be quad 2.
Yeah.
And then at
North Texas.
At North Texas would be quad 1. I don't know.
I believe so, because the road game boosts
Road
that
game
ranking
jumps
a
to
little bit of the opponent.
like 25 rankings.
Yeah.
It's like 25 point.
Honestly,
Yeah.
quad schmod, just win your games, man.
Just win the games.
Just win the games.
Exactly, yeah.
Who cares?
Simple as that. Landon, what do you see? What does Memphis do in this conference slate?
I'm with Devin. I'm at 16-2. I mean, I think those two should definitely be a couple road games like the Wichita State, and then who knows after that. I mean, on paper, Memphis should beat every single one of these teams, but it's just that's just not going to happen for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, 16-2 just sounds crazy. You know, I know you're betting. I mean, this conference is not good. This is the worst conference, the worst AAC conference Memphis has been in since they joined in what year? Not too long ago.
2013.
2013.
When Memphis joined in 2013, they came in with like UConn, Louisville, and Rutgers, Cincy.
Yeah.
So this conference has gone downhill, man.
Houston.
Yeah.
That was a fun conference.
Houston, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, that was a really fun conference. 16 wins just sounds crazy. That puts you at, quick math, 26-5. 16-2 puts you at 26-5. And you know, you have to put context to that. But 26-5 next to your name sure looks good. You know what I mean? But that's something to, because you know, there's going to be a lot of casual fans who are just going to show up if the team is winning. And if you see the team is, 26-5, oh man, these Tigers are good. Let me turn them on. Yeah, let me turn the game on. Pause. Let me turn the game on. Because that's just casual fans. Casual fans you like that AP poll number. You like that little top 25 next year name. You like that little record. And I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus. I like it too. I think it's cool.
I loved it. I love seeing the number. Yeah.
I'm an AP poll merchant. I think it's cool seeing that little number. Exactly.
Something to note about just the upcoming games. Memphis does play two, like we mentioned, North Texas. Memphis starts at FAU on January 2, and then the next game is North Texas on January 5. So two tough.
So it's like the two best teams they're going to play in the schedule.
Yeah.
Is the first two.
Right.
Is that
North
home?
Texas?
That's home?
North Texas.
Okay. One game?
So,
fellas,
something to keep your eye on. Something to keep your eye on for, like we mentioned, North Texas, one of the better teams in the conference.
Yeah. Which is kind of hilarious that North Texas is.
Kind of says a lot about the state of the conference when we're talking.
Landon, find me the numbers. Where is UAB? The preseason chop computer man.
Yeah, pull that up later. Go ahead and pull that up for us.
Well,
go ahead and pull it up.
There goes Wichita. There's Temple. Oh, UAB 138 in Kempom.
The preseason
behind Wichita
AAC,
State, behind Temple, behind North Texas, behind FAU, behind
the
Memphis.
preseason AAC favorites. UAB is 100 spots behind Memphis currently in Kempom. Do with that information what you will. Devin, if you had a vote in the AAC preseason poll, who would you have voted for?
Memphis, obviously. Big Memphis guy. Memphis gets the vote. Wichita State, too. No, I'm just kidding. I think Memphis number one, obviously.
Yeah, I think we've exhausted our eligibility on this show right now. Landon, what's next on your agenda? I'm going to throw you a live bomb.
Oh, Landon has an agenda.
Ticking time bomb?
Yes.
I'm probably, after this show, I'm going to watch some football.
Okay, that's not on the show, dude. That's not on the show. Okay. Okay. What college football is on right now?
I believe Alabama's playing Michigan. And then the first game of the playoff quarterfinals are tonight.
That's tonight? Oh, that is tonight. Oh, dude, today's New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's to all Memphis rivals, Tiger Sports Report. Thank you for spending the great year with us, with me, my buddy Landon Speck, my good buddy Devin LaTulippe. Man, this is great.
Nice pronunciation of my last name. Glad you nailed it.
There's nowhere else I'd rather be right now. I mean that wholeheartedly.
Nowhere else I'd rather be than recording the TSR, what's our
Tiger basketball report, the TBR.
The Tiger basketball report. Yeah.
This is why I'm the host. This is why I'm the host, folks.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Any more thoughts on Memphis basketball?
No.
No? We're exhausted. All right, I think that's all. I think that's all I had to say too. Like we said, Memphis got FAU coming up here, start the new year, 7 o'clock. Well, 7 o'clock Eastern sometime, 6 p.m.
Hmm.
for
6 p.m. real time.
6 p.m. real time, 6 p.m. real time on ESPN two, 21st ranked Tigers. What do you know? But I think that's going to wrap us up for today. And thank you for listening, and we will catch you next time.